Why is it
important to study other cultures?
You're not ignorant and you know why people do things in their environment, in their area.
We can always learn from each other, and I always like learning new things.
So we can take the best that they have and apply it to ourselves so that we can improve our own culture.
I think it's important to study other cultures because we have no sense of comparison unless we can compare it to something else. We only know what our culture is and what we experience, and to be able to compare what we have to anything, we have to know what other cultures are experiencing.
Good. We live in a world at this point in time. Everybody's all interconnected. You need to understand other cultures, understand why they act the way they do, why they respond the way they think they do.
We recognize that people have different values, just in our own little community. And because we are a global society now, and the importance of understanding how other people think and the kinds of things they value and believe.
Understanding. We live in a vast world full of billions of people, and understanding them should be one of our chief concerns as human beings.
Then you have a better perspective of the world around you, and I think you understand more about where your own culture comes from and how that fits into to your knowledge of the world.
Other cultures have a lot of information to give us as well, and puts things in perspective.
It's good to have diversity.
It is very influential with our time today.
To receive a better perception of the world and different people in order to make yourself a better individual.
It helps you understand why other people think the way they do.
So that you know what else is out there and you don't just take your country for granted. When we have an understanding of other cultures, we can appreciate differences in people more, and I think if we can appreciate where other people are coming from, it helps eliminate stereotypes and generalities.
Because it helps broaden your mind, and many people don't go beyond their own culture and where they are. And you learn a lot about yourselves when you learn about other people.
So that you can understand what's going on in different places.
If you understand other people and how they live, then you can understand how you live, because after all, we are one.
So that you know about the people around you, because there are very few places in the world where there's only one culture present.
So we can work together as, I would say, humanity to find solutions to problems, world problems.
So we create a well-rounded student with knowledge of not only our culture, but other cultures of the world.
Together. So we should know about other people and other places.
The library mainly is used for working. It's used for research an awful lot as well. And the kids are in here studying, but I do think it's also a gathering place for the kids to come and meet with their friends and perhaps try to do homework together. I think they're mainly used for schoolwork. I think occasionally we veer off, but we try to keep it to schoolwork.
Okay. The amount of work is kind of a lot, and the amount of homework isn't too bad if you have a lot of time to do it.
Worked in a few different school districts in New Hampshire, and Bedford's a very lucky school district. We have a lot of resources, and the school culture has done a nice job to allow special ed students to participate, and that's one of the big things that we do is students really participate in all the things that they do in school.
I had a friend from Japan who visited once and came to school with me, and she was shocked at how when the bell rang, regardless of what the teacher was saying, the students would just up and get out of here. And I know once in a while I will say to my students, you know, the bell's going to ring soon, but I have something important I want to say. Please wait until I'm done saying it. Where in other cultures you may not have to have to say that, so I don't know why that's a broader cultural thing of just, there's the bell, I'm out of here.
I think that education needs to make every effort to change with the times. Schools change. The only institution that changes more slowly than education is the Catholic Church.
And I know when I first started teaching, I actually felt differently than I feel now. At first I thought, why should students call me, Mrs. Gagnon or something like that? I felt that it wasn't personal, and I'm just a person like everybody else, so let's just be on a first-name basis. However, the reality of teaching and the structure of being in charge, having the flow of the classroom and that sort of thing, I personally now see it that I think it's a respectful thing to address somebody, with your services, that sort of thing.
I would think it was a little informal because in the age I grew up, you always called a teacher Mr. or Mrs. or Miss.
We have a variety of arrests. I would say some of our major arrests have to do with a motor vehicle, driving a car, people drinking and driving, suspended licenses, people's licenses being suspended for other offenses. We have a lot of shoplifting in stores throughout the town. That all goes with the economy, I would say. People don't have enough money, so they go to the store and steal it. So we have a lot. That's probably our number one thing, shoplifting. It would definitely affect it. The town of Bedford, I don't know how big it is in Denmark, but it's 26 square miles and almost 22,000 people. So, and we do have crime. So if we only had one police officer and they got tied up on an arrest like a shoplifting like I was talking about earlier, there'd be no one else patrolling the town. So that would be I just can't even see how we would do one. We usually have 5 to 6 guys on a shift. It would help it a little bit. 16, it's my honest opinion, 16 is still pretty young for someone to be driving. Not that people are not mature enough at 16, but I think it would definitely help a lot. Because at 18, you're obviously more mature.
I think most students, not all students, but most students have the ability to physically and in terms of just their observation skills to be able to drive. They have the ability to have the skills to drive and are developmentally just about in the right place to understand the dangers and the importance of being a good driver.
I think one of the major reasons that the drinking age in the United States or New Hampshire or Bedford is 21 is because they figure that you're mature enough. 18, I still think it's on the edge of maturity. 16, definitely you're not mature enough to handle alcohol.
Okay, so what is your perception of America, like just teaching here and being here and living here and all that?
It's, I just feel it's a place where there's opportunity to do different things and to experience a lot of great opportunities. And I moved over from England in 2001, and I feel that my chance to move forward in my career and my life seem a lot better. So that's one of my feelings.
You want to teach kids like at Bedford High School? Like, what do you want to get out of it? Like, if they leave your classroom, like, what do they want? What do you want them to know?
I want them to be, academically sort of move forward, but more importantly, development of the whole human being.
You think about the rules and like regulations at high schools in the U.S.
Yeah, coming from England, I feel it is a bit more. It's different. I'd say it's a bit more lax, but at the same time, I think there's rules there that regulate and keep students in the right sort of frame. But at the same time, coming from England, where we had school uniform and you had to, sit in silence when in certain situations and stand up when the teachers entered the room. It was very, very sort of a bit more disciplined.
And do you trust your students? Like, do you trust they work? And do you trust that they're academically sound?
On the whole, yeah. And I think the thing at Bedford, I think, is that you earn the trust.
I've run schools with younger kids, middle school age kids, And working at a high school, because students are more mature, more worldly today, I find it a lot more enjoyable to work with that age level. Beyond just the academic learning that happens, co-curricular programming. What I like about this age group is there's a clear growth between when they walk in the door as a 9th grade 14-year-old and they leave, for most students, and they leave as an 18 or 19-year-old. There's real maturity over that time period. 16, there's still a lot of thinking and developing that needs to happen with a 16-year-old.